All right, here is a beautiful 2-5-1 lick from Miles Davis. Great use of chromaticism, particularly over the 2 chord. And he's doing this over the tune All the Things You Are. It's actually from a live recording with the Tad Dameron Quintet from 1949, if you can believe that, which just goes to show you how ahead of his time Miles was. Just amazing player, and I've always loved his use of chromaticism. And I thought this lick gave us some good insight into some of the things that he thinks about when he plays chromatically. So I'll go over what happens over the 2 chord because that's really the bulk of the chromaticism within the lick. But the fingering is kind of specific, so I'll go over the fingering first and then I'll talk about the theory behind it. So we start out with our pointer finger on B on the 1st string. Ring finger plays A on the 2nd string. Pointer finger does B flat on the 1st string. Then back to A on the 2nd string with your ring finger. And then you just go down, middle finger on A flat, pointer finger on G, slide down a fret to F sharp. So far we have, and then the ring finger is going to go to E on the 3rd string. So, and then pointer finger plays F on the 2nd string, and then ring finger plays E flat on the 3rd string. And then put your pointer finger on E on the 2nd string, hammer onto F sharp with your ring, and then pointer on E flat on the 2nd string, hammer on to E with your middle, and then ring finger plays D flat on the 3rd string. So it's such an amazing sound, just such a fluid chromatic line. So the theory is pretty interesting because if you look at the first note, it starts on a B natural over a B flat minor 7 chord, which really goes to show you that you can start on any note and make it work because, you know, I would say the flat 9 is probably as dissonant as it will get in terms of a starting note for a minor chord. Maybe you could say the major 3rd would also be, but, you know, definitely not the first note that would come to mind when you think of starting a line for a 2-5-1 lick, but it's great. So the way I would think of the first couple notes, starts on B and then he does A and then he does B flat. So if you look at those notes, the B and the A, it's just a half step above and a half step below the B flat note, right? So I would just say it's a chromatic approach to the root, 1 above, 1 below. And then right here, this is just a really long chromatic approach to the F, which is the 5th. So anytime you're analyzing a chromatic line, I would just recommend find the note that it lands on that is within the chord, and then just look at the way that that note is being approached, because the majority of chromaticism is you're just taking a target note and then you're surrounding it with chromatic notes either above or below, or just some sort of combination of the two. And you can see that within this lick. So we have the 1 above, 1 below for the root, and then right here, I would call that, because we're going to the F, I would call this 4 above, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that E note is 1 below. So 4 above, 1 below, and then resolve to the F, right? So we have, right, just beautiful, just very smooth, just lands perfectly on those chord tones. Now right here, this is a little bit, I guess, outside of the chromaticism. Actually, not really, technically, I guess. This is the hardest part in terms of analyzing it because it goes a little bit outside of like straight B flat minor and landing on chord tones. So we have the F, and then we play E flat, and then that E to F sharp. I'm not exactly sure how to analyze that. You could say that he's thinking of the 5 chord early, like he's thinking like E flat altered. I don't know if that would be the easiest explanation to come up with. So let me know what you think about what's going on here. But those last couple notes, it's kind of a little bit more vague. I mean, it almost looks like D flat minor, right? So I'm not exactly sure what's going on right there, but the beginning part is very clearly like, you know, chromatic approaches to the root and the 5th, and then he concludes with, I guess right there you could look at that as another like a chromatic to the E, 1 above, 1 below, but the E is like the flatted 5th, so I don't know if he's really thinking like a chromatic approach to the flatted 5th. So as you can see, it's kind of ambiguous. So let me know what your thoughts are in terms of what's going on there. And then right here, Another just great lick, not as chromatic, but there's a couple of little chromatic spots. But basically what it looks like here, we have our pointer finger on F on the second string, and I'm using my middle and ring. I tried using my pinky for some of the lick, and for whatever reason, it just seemed like when I didn't use my pinky, the chromaticism just flowed more, which I guess makes sense because when you watch some players who are very chromatic on the guitar, like somebody like Pat Metheny, a lot of times when you watch the way he kind of maneuvers around the different spots of the neck chromatically, a lot of times he's not using his pinky very often. So maybe that's a deliberate choice just based on how fluid it sounds by using those three fingers. So we start with our pointer finger on F, and this is where we start the E flat 7 chord. So we F, G, A flat, B flat, and then a little chromatic here. So pick B, pick C with your middle, pick D flat, and then pick B again, and then hammer on to C with your middle. So what I would say is going on right here, to me it just looks like he's thinking over the one chord, basically, just playing like A flat major, and this chromatic right here, it's the third of the A flat major chord. So even though it's over E flat 7, you can target the one chord early. That's a very common thing to do. And to me, that would make more sense in terms of analyzing this lick right here, because it's either he's doing that, right? He's chromatically approaching the third of the A flat, or he's chromatically approaching the 6 of the E flat 7. If you analyze this against E flat 7, right, that's how that chromaticism would line up. So to me, it seems more logical just to think of it as A flat major. And then from there, then you slide down a fret. After pick B, slide your pointer finger down a fret to B flat, then ring on A flat in the second string, middle on G, pointer on F sharp, or on F, excuse me, and then ring finger on E flat on the third string, and then pointer on D flat, and slide down a fret to C. So like after, just going straight down at A flat major scale, you know, and then when we get to that C note, that is when it resolves to the A flat. So he lands on the third, and then he just does a straight A flat arpeggio. He does C, E flat, A flat, which is the third, fifth, and root. So we have the majority of the chromaticism, like I said, over the B flat minor 7 chord. Then when he gets to the 5 chord, the E flat 7, he's thinking A flat major with the little chromatic approach between to the third, right? One below, one above. All right, so much great stuff going on in this lick. So I'll do it slow and then I'll speed it up. 3, 4. 3, 4. So just so much great stuff going on, and like I said, it's really amazing that this was from 1949. I mean, Miles' bebop playing was just so ahead of its time in the late 40s already. So just so much great stuff throughout his entire discography. I mean, the fact that he was doing this kind of stuff in the late 40s, and then you look at, you know, how his sound continued to evolve throughout the decades. I mean, I think he's just, you know, one of those artists who's just constantly been ahead of the time and constantly reinventing himself in a very new and unique way, and makes sense why Miles is considered one of the greats of all time in jazz. So, you know, it took me a little while to do a lick of his. You know, this is the 120th lick, but better late than never, I guess. And that's it. That's our lick for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. And as always, if you would like to donate and support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/MikeAudetteMusic or paypal.me/MikeAudetteMusic. That's our episode for this week. I will see you at the next episode. Take care.